A couple of days ago, I would argue, was a dark day for the Grand Theft Auto community, especially those that had hopes of a 2025 release date. It had been north of 500 days since Rockstar Games had anything to say officially about Grand Theft Auto 6 since the debut trailer back in December of 2023, and the silence was deafening, and I think a lot of people were growing with an assessment that the game was going to be delayed to 2026, and surely enough, that is exactly what happened. But what's also very confusing is that Rockstar Games themselves really didn't update any of their marketing material. Everything still remained with that 2025 date, so a lot of people started getting hopeful that maybe Rockstar Games was going to have something to show for Grand Theft Auto 6 finally after 500 days, and this delay announcement at least was going to come with some new stuff to look at. And surely enough, that is exactly what has happened. Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer number 2 is here. We're going to talk about that later on in this video because there is so much to break down, but also right now Rockstar Games kind of shadow dropped on their own website over 70 new images along with 10 artworks of Grand Theft Auto 6, along with a little bit of a gameplay video of sorts, I guess you could say. And these things aren't being talked about as much, but there is just so much Grand Theft Auto 6 that I think a lot of people don't realize is out there. So first off, if you actually go to Rockstar Games' website, we first find out the premise of Grand Theft Auto 6, Vice City USA, Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked against them, but when an easy score goes wrong, small robbery gone wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida, forcing to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. And if you watch that trailer, you do see a little short snippet of some cops talking to each other. Definitely seems to be some corruption going on. Definitely feels like there could be something that Jason and Lucia come upon that they're not supposed to know about, and they're trying to be hunted down by these corrupt cops. At least that's what the premise maybe seems to be hinting at. But it's quite clear based on trailer number 2 and trailer number 1 is the relationship of Jason and Lucia is a major component of this story, of this game, and how things come together or fall apart is something that we're going to be seeing, because within this trailer we do see them hanging out, we see them loving each other, we also see them on the run, how that impacts them. It's going to be a major theme of this game, the Bonnie and Clyde duo. We get our first look, obviously here is Jason and Lucia. I do love the homage to Grand Theft Auto Vice City. You see Jason with the palm tree shirt right outside of the Ocean View Hotel. Just love the homage to GTA Vice City and Ray Liotta's infamous character Tommy Vercetti of that game. Now, this is the first information we get of Jason Duval. Jason wants an easy life, but things just keep getting harder. Jason grew up around grifters and crooks after a stint in the army trying to shake off his troubled teams. He found himself in the Keys doing what he knows best, working for local drug runners. It might be time to try something new. And then we get some new images of Jason. This was him just, again, he looks a little bit older than some of the previous, official and leaked images that we had of Jason. He looks a little bit different, definitely an upgrade. They did that with Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2, very noticeable within trailer 1 to trailer 2, and then the final footage. And here's another one, Jason on a bike with a gun in hand, and then we get another shot of him with obviously that's Brian's Boatworks and Marina, which obviously this is stuff that probably happens very early on in the game, but you see them hang around in a bar and it looks like some individuals are coming up to stir up some trouble for them. But that is our first little introduction, first look at Jason Duval. We also see this little shot of him, obviously a bank robbery going on. If anything happens, I'm right behind you. Another day in paradise, right? Meeting Lucia could be the best or worst thing to ever happen to him. Jason knows how he'd like it to turn out, but right now it's hard to tell. We see him here with an assault rifle in hand, overlooking a nighttime Vice City. Looks stunning. I think the visuals in this trailer is absolutely remarkable, and this is all shot on a PlayStation 5, which makes this even more just absolutely amazing. And then we see another shot of him, I believe this is again outside of the Ocean View Hotel with that palm tree shirt, looking very similar to, Tommy Vercetti, obviously a little different colored, but definitely an homage. We get another shot here. This is him on a boat. Definitely you see some different hairstyles and stuff of Jason. I really am looking forward to all the customization. I love that you can see the arm hairs on him. It's just these little details that you only get out of Rockstar Games, but you see them fishing here. I'd assume that this is going to be a mini game in the game, but we'll see. Definitely seems to be a hint at it at the very least. Next shot we have, again, of Jason and Lucia right outside of that hotel. And then we get our first introduction, well, proper introduction to Lucia Caminos. Lucia's father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming at her, swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in the Leonida Penitentiary. Sheer luck got her out. Lucia's learned her lesson. Only smart moves from here. And I do think it's very interesting. You see a couple of different shots also within the trailer of her like downstairs fighting. Some people think maybe this is a fight club. It would be interesting. I kind of hope that's what they're hinting at. But yes, you do see her working out obviously here, getting in some punching, maybe some lessons and stuff going on. Then we see her hanging out. Obviously, it looks like some sort of resort, some sort of place that she's just, getting a nice drink in. And then we do see another prison image of her with a very different hairstyle. And again, I hope that there's tons of customization with this game. I'm sure there will be for both characters. And hopefully this is just another indication of that. More than anything, Lucia wants the good life her mom has dreamed of since their days in Liberty City. So there's some background about her. They used to live in Liberty City. The connections, there's always been some theories about, a certain DLC with Liberty City. I do wonder if that comes, into practice with this game. We'll see, and some of the characters of that game. But instead of half-baked fantasies, Lucia is prepared to take matters into her own hands. And then we see again, she just stunning character overall. See her outside of the Vice City, the infamous street right there. The only thing that matters is who you know and what you got. A life with Jason could be her way out. Fresh out of prison and ready to change the odds in her favor, Lucia is committed to her plan, no matter what it takes. And again, just some more beautiful shots of her here in a club dancing. And there's definitely some ass shots. It definitely feels like Rockstar Games is leaning into the sex appeal, really not, steering away from that. And I do appreciate that. It seems like a lot of developers have been really trying to stay away from that. Rockstar Games, at the very least, looks like they are embracing it. And I think that is a good thing. And then we do have another shot here with a gun in hand. Looks like she's being hunted down or something. Very emotional. Unsure of the context of the situation, but it's exciting at the very least. Then we get another one of her outside of some sort of bar. And some people have been pointing out, if you look very closely at the license plate right here, we do get what appears to be, this has to be Georgia. Gloriana, I'm not sure. I believe that's what they're calling, the Rockstar Universe version of Georgia, Gloriana. I guess that's what Georgia is. Do wonder if that's something that ends up appearing, maybe not in the base game of GTA 6, possible obviously still, but maybe this is something planned for GTA Online down the road. There's been leaks in the past hinting that there's going to be map expansions and one of their plans for GTA Online 2. But yeah, another great shot of Lucia there. And then we do get some new artwork of the two. I believe that this is not the thumbnail, but yeah, there's been tons of different artwork for the game that has been revealed. We'll talk about that in a second, but this one, a new shot of Lucia and Jason. It looks like them in a motel with a bunch of money. And there's definitely lots of hints. Again, the Bonnie and Clyde theme is all over this trailer, in which you see them going from place to place. First, it looks like it starts off where that boating area, where they have some sort of rundown house, and then there's a different place where they're in a motel. So they're on the run pretty much, and hopefully we'll have some customization. Another part that I really hope is there with our safe houses, but it also depends, how long are we going to be at these places? Is it going to be a couple of missions? Is it going to be entire sections, kind of like how Red Dead Redemption 2 had? We'll see. Then only in Leonida. When the sun fades and the neon glows, everyone has something to gain and more to lose. And then we get our first introduction to a ton of different side characters in the game. Cal Hampton. What if everything on the internet was true? Jason's friend and a fellow associate of Brian's. Cal feels safest hanging at home, snooping on Coast Guard comms with a few beers and some private browser tabs open. And I will say about Cal, especially with him being featured right under Jason and Lucia, he gives off major character vibes, like maybe Lester level, and he kind of actually reminds me in many ways of Lester, like obviously not necessarily on the tech guru hacker side, but he is going to be a character that we're probably going to be looking to for a lot of different things. And we get some screenshots of them hanging out right here. Violence is cool. Thanks, video games. Love that. And another look at Jason right next to him. Outside of, I guess this is probably one of the early workplaces that Jason takes part in. You see the Bryans in the background, and there's a number of photos and images. And I think even within the trailer, you do see Jason wearing a hat with Bryans on it. So this does appear, maybe this is Jason's first job early on in the game. And another shot of Cal. Looks like they're playing mini golf, and yeah, tongue out. Again, the animations, I think, and the visuals just overall look stunning. breathtaking and remarkable and industry revolutionary. I mean, that's just what Rockstar Games is known for, and it's on full display here with all this captured on the PlayStation 5. And then we get another shot of him. If I can get the image to show properly, and I guess you only get a corner image, but it moves on to next say, there are way too many birds flying around in perfect formation. And yeah, a couple more here of them playing pool at a bar, and hopefully, again, that's another mini game that we can take part in. We do see him laying down on, I guess, in a pool with a flamingo-looking thing right there. Looks very cool. Again, all of this, it's just the little details that really strike the most with Rockstar Games, and you see it all over this footage. The psychopaths are in charge to get used to it. Cal is at the low tide of America and happy there. Casual Paranoia loves company, but his friend Jason has bigger plans. Now, the next side character we get introduced to is Booby Ike. If you remember from the debut leaks that happened in 2022, Booby was mentioned. It's all about Hart, the Jack of Hearts, and the Jack of Hearts was actually featured in those leaks. Booby is a local Vice City legend and acts like it, one of the few to transform his time in the streets into a legitimate empire spanning real estate, a strip club, and a recording studio. Booby's all smiles until it's time to talk business. And yeah, we obviously get some new artwork here with him. And then we have, yeah, it looks like him inside the Jack of Hearts counting money right here. He has looks like a custom handgun. Looks very cool. And another shot of him holding a gun inside of the club, enjoying himself. And then, yeah, there's a shot of him overseeing. And again, we did get a look at a number of little, gameplay snippets, I guess you could say. And yeah, on Rockstar's website, we actually have like a good 10-second of video clips that have been shown. And yeah, we get the Lucia one here, Jason pulling off a robbery. This is Cal. This is Booby in the club. This is Raul. We're going to meet. And what's really interesting, I think this is the most notable shot. Obviously, it's not exactly the greatest definition, but we'll see it on the website in a second. This does look like a hint to the Grand Theft Auto 4, the big heist mission. I think it was called 3-Leaf Clovers or something along those lines. One of the most infamous ones, and this does appear to be hinting at that. And if you're not aware of that, think Heat from Michael Mann's 1995 movie Heat, and what you're in downtown fighting off cops and just honestly chaos all around. And that seems to be what's going on right here. You see Raul, Lucy, and I believe that's going to be Jason in the background, and they're fighting off cops in the downtown of Vice City and probably trying to pull off some sort of heist. Yeah, in the next shot here, we get a couple of the side characters, and yeah. Like I said, it looks great. I think all of these little all this gameplay footage, it honestly is something that many of us have been waiting so long to see. And I understand some are still hopeful, actual gameplay video with a heads-up display and everything on. That'll probably come later, I would assume, probably around the 6-month mark, when we start going to full marketing for Grand Theft Auto 6, and that's still a ways off. But at the very least, it's something to look at for right now, and I very much appreciate it myself. But getting back to the character information, the club money pay for the studio, and the drug money pay for it all. That is, I guess, a Booby quote. And then a couple of different more shots with him outside of the Jack of Hearts. Again, he's the businessman, him hanging around with the club and the strippers. And yeah, top quality cuts. Booby might seem like he's just out for himself, but it's partnership with a young aspiring music mogul, Draquan, for Only Raw Records that he's most invested in. Now they just need a hit. And I would take a guess that some of these characters, some of these music individuals are probably going to be famous artists of the real world. I would assume that's what Rockstar Games is going to do here. And yes, we get our first introduction of Draquan Priest, another side character, Only Raw Records. Draquan was always more of a hustler than a gangster, even when he was dealing on the streets to make ends meet. Breaking into music was the goal. And yeah, we see him in the club dancing with some strippers, or maybe not necessarily strippers. We see him outside of, I guess, another different resort or some sort of club. Dreams, I can't see the other part of that, but you see a pool in the background and people in bikinis and enjoying the pool life. And then, yes, we do see him in his manatees outfit. Again, that seems to be the football team of Vice City. Dancers are like my A&Rs. If the record's a hit, DJ's gonna be spinning it. And a couple more shots of him inside of the studio doing music. This is a strong focus of Grand Theft Auto Online. They've done that for years, and it seems to be bleeding into GTA 6. I kind of hope it is in the lesser extent. Wasn't really into that in GTA Online, but that's just a personal thing of my own. I really do hope that they're not going too far into the music type stuff at the very least. But yeah, they do have a character that is strongly focused on that. You're with the label now that he signed the real dimes. Draquan's days of booking acts in the booby strip club might be numbered as he sets his sights on the Vice City scene. And then, yeah, we get more influencers, the Real Dimes, viral videos, viral hooks. Bay Lux and Roxy, aka Real Dimes, have been friends since high school, girls with the savvy to turn their time shaking down local dealers into cold hard cash via spicy rap tracks and a relentless social media presence. So influencers, pretty much that's what they are. And yeah, we see them right here. One of them, another shot of Roxy, and then them together, and I guess we get a quote, "All my dimes in this club, meet my twin, make it a dub." And yeah, I think they may have been featured within the debut trailer as well. But yeah, the influencer lifestyle is, I guess, going to be on display of Grand Theft Auto 6. And if you're going to be parodying stuff like this, I guess you kind of have to feature. We'll see how that goes, honestly. One hit away from fame, an early hit single with local rapper Downplay took Real Dimes to new heights. Now, after 5 years and a whole lot of trouble, they're signed to only Raw Records, hoping lightning can strike twice. And then we meet Raul Batista. He seems to be, again, we see that shot of him having that massive heist, it looks like, in downtown Vice City. Going to be very interesting to see, how massive that is, or if that is the big mission within Grand Theft Auto 6. But he seems to have maybe some involvement in that. Experience counts, confidence, charm, and cunning. Raul's a seasoned bank robber, always on the hunt for talent, ready to take the big risks that bring the biggest rewards. And yeah, he seems to be more of a methodical type figure. Again, he's somebody we're going to be meeting and taking missions with, it appears. Seems to be well off, it appears. It looks like he's in a nice little boat right there. And yeah, here's the shot that I was talking about a second ago. Yeah, you can see Lucia and him. Life is full of surprises, my friend. I think we'd all be wise to remember that. And I will say he gives strong Sicario vibes. I forget the main character of those movies, but that's who he reminds me of, Javier Bardem's character. I honestly cannot remember at the top of my head, but yeah, that's the vibe I get from this character. Looks very cool. A professional adapts. Raul's recklessness raises the stakes with every score. Sooner or later, his crew will have to double down or pull their chips from the table. And then we meet Brian Heder. Again, seems to be the owner that we see that Jason somewhat works for at the beginning of the game, it appears. Nothing better than a mudslide at sunset. Brian's a classic drug runner from the golden age of smuggling in the Keys, still moving product through his boatyard with his third wife, Lori. Brian's been around long enough to let others do his dirty work. And yeah, he seems to be upset, I guess, over some of the drugs or something going on in this scene. Again, I just love all the details on these characters. And yeah, it looks like Jason right next to him driving the car around. And yeah, then we get another shot of him, and it looks like a quote, "I hauled so much grass in that plane, I could make the state of Leonida levitate." And a couple more shots of him hanging around. And then the final shot of him and Jason. Jason with a little bit more facial hair in this scene rather than the one beforehand. I'm guessing that would be his wife, Lori. And looks like a Leonida beach bum, moves like a great white shark. Brian's letting Jason live rent-free at one of his properties so long as he helps with local shakedowns and stops by for Lori's sangria once in a while. And that is the final. And then we have the final shot of Jason and Lucia. It looks like them gearing up outside of their car. And this was one of the indications that we got, that you're not going to have infinite amounts of weapons. You're going to have to load up before a mission. And maybe that's a hint of that here. Maybe. Not entirely too sure. But this does seem to be some homage again to another scene within Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I'll put it on this screen. But yeah, definitely fears there's going to be a lot of different Easter eggs within Grand Theft Auto 6. And yeah, Rockstar Games did reveal the 6 main map locations. We have Vice City, Main City Hub. A lot of the stuff's going to happen here. The big city. Leonida Keys, that was revealed during the first debut trailer. Another overview of it right there. Port Gellhorn seems to be probably the secondary city of sorts. Ambrosia, Grass Rivers, Mount Calaga National Park, and the latter two seem to be more focused on the environment, maybe wildlife. Those are the things that we'll find within those places. Maybe stuff to do off-road, activities like we could do in Grand Theft Auto 5. But I'm sure there's going to be a stronger focus on, discovering things like how it was. Maybe a little bit less so, but maybe a little like Red Dead Redemption 2's wildlife and environments. But yeah, we do have details for each new region. Vice City, everything in excess. We're a long way from the 80s, but Vice City is still the sun and fun capital of America. The glamour, hustle, and greed of America captured in a single city. Each neighborhood has something to offer, from the pastel Art Deco hotels and bright white sands of Ocean Beach. to the bustling panaderias of Little Cuba and the bootleg brands of the Tishawaka Flea Market, out to the VC Port, the cruise ship capital of the world. And that rich lifestyle is very much on display within the debut, well, the secondary trailer, and we do see that within some of these images. As you can see, definitely an overview of the beach, and yeah, you see that lifestyle very much on display. And then we have another look over the Vice City lettering right here this is right outside of the airport. Looks very nice. I love the lighting. It looks stunning. And hopefully this is an activity. I believe it is based on things I've heard and I've reported in the past. But yes, we do see a hint here at basketball. And that is one of the many activities that people have caught up on. This is something that people have been pointing out. These are some of the other ones: mini golf, pool, hunting, fishing, diving, dirt bike, kayaking, strip clubs. Just a lot of different activities that hopefully very much are featured in the game. And I think there's a reason why Rockstar Games is hinting at it, and I think that's the strong indication. But yeah, you see a lot over here. I love the overview. You see different hotels and stuff. And again, I know a lot of people are really hopeful for it, and I hope for it too, but I really do hope that we can go in a lot of these different environments and buildings and such. But I love all the different activities. You can see there seems to be some sort of police chase or some sort of thing going on down here. I just love the chaos of the city. And you see that here in Vice City. So looks very cool. We see a different NPC, I guess some gangbangers that are running around, I guess, in Vice City, maybe some of the different neighborhoods and such. The beach lifestyle, obviously, all kinds of different physique on characters, and I love to see that. Very diverse. Very awesome to see. And then we see a couple of, the stripper lifestyle of Vice City also here. Yeah, that would be more of that within that shot. And then another nighttime scene here. It looks like we have our first look at the basketball team. Again, this is like the Miami Heat equivalent, but the Narcos Vice City. If you zoom in, you can see it says Narcos. And we do know that I believe that the football team is maybe called the Manatees. So hopefully we are able to go in some of these stadiums and there's some action within these scenes. I really do hope that is the case, but it's unclear again at this moment. But yeah, a lot going on. This is just a massive open world. Looks extremely diverse and very impressive. And the final shot we have of Vice City, we have some bikers going around, and you see the murals and different the diversity within each region of Vice City. I just love to see it. I really do. I love that they defined it, and continues off of what was built previously during Grand Theft Auto Vice City, set in the 80s, obviously. But the next region here we have is, well, Grass Rivers. Welcome to the wetlands. And yeah, the hint was that this is pretty much the Bayou region. The untamable jewel of Leonidas' crown. You never know what lies beneath the surface of the primordial expanse. The gators may be the most famous attraction, but there are far deadlier predators and weirder discoveries among the mangroves. And I do wonder if this is hinting at maybe like the legendary animals that we had within Red Dead Redemption 2, some wild things that we can come upon. I really do hope that is the case here. Unclear, obviously, at the moment, but yeah, we do see obviously some of the redneck lifestyle very much here on display. You see them standing over a gator. No trespassing. Violators will be prosecuted, and yeah, you see that within some of these footage. Another overview. It looks like another one of the smaller towns. You can see Vice City in the background and some of the different buildings and such. And we'll continue. The next shot we have, again, looks to be it's hunting that's going on. Looks like I'm not sure if that's Jason and Cal right here, but it looks like they are hunting alligators, whoever these individuals are on this little boat. And again, I really do hope that this is to hint at legendary animals and different things that we can come upon, because that was another thing I really loved about Red Dead Redemption 2. And yeah, it looks like we have some police. I assume that this is a hint that if we do get in a car chase, there is going to be some special vehicles that will come after us, or they will engage us if we continue to travel within these environments. And I do love to see that. We have obviously a helicopter going after us, and again, just the visuals of this is absolutely remarkable. Next up is Port Gellhorn. Live hard. This is Leonidas' forgotten coast. Cheap motels, shut down attractions, and empty strip malls won't bring the tourists back, but there's a new economy in the once popular vacation spot. It's fueled by malt liquor, painkillers, and truck stop energy drinks. Jump on a dirt bike and hold onto your wallet. And we get a look at the Starlit Motel. I'm going to assume that this is probably one of the locations that Lucy and Jason eventually come upon and end up staying for a while. At least I think that maybe what the hint is here going on. But yeah, we see again some more individuals, gangbangers, I guess you could say, hanging around here. Drug businesses and such that I guess, are very much on display. And yeah, that seems to be the focus of this region, it appears. And we do see our look at, I guess, a new strip club, Delight's Cabaret, new girls, new food, open all night, hiring dancers. So that is another strip club that has been confirmed within the game. And yeah, it looks like we do see some of the I guess, the population that we'll come upon within this region. Ambrosia, keeping Leonida sweet, the battle for the health and wealth of Leonida begins here. In the heart of Leonida, American industry and old school values still reign supreme. Whatever the cost, the Allied Crystal Sugar Refinery provides the jobs, while the local biker gang provides almost everything else. And yes, we see the biker gang here. Again, strong GTA 4 vibes. I love to see it. The Lost and Damned, I love that DLC. Obviously, that's not gonna be very different here, but I just love how each region has its own specific identity, and that seems to be the hint, at the very least, with this. Proud Alliance of Diversity and Treats, Ambrosia County Sheriff Office ahead. So, and then I think it says the final chapter of Ambrosia. So, yeah, a new biker gang being introduced to the GTA universe, it appears. And just another couple of different shots of it. The nighttime shot here. Again, you can see the factories and stuff in the background, the smoke going on, very distinct, very strong identity. And then we see one of these enforcers right here, another shot at him. He's wearing a hat. Love the beard, love the facial hair, it looks great. And then we have a look at a fire, maybe some sort of controlled fire, unclear what's going on necessarily in this shot, but yeah. And then the final shot we do have is, it looks like, again, the sex appeal of Grand Theft Auto 6 is very much on display here, and I don't think I need to say more, but I do, again, I really have an appreciation for the hair that you see on these individuals' bodies. It's very noticeable, and you don't see that within games very often, so yeah, very cool. Mount Calaga National Park, wild, wild country, room to breathe on the state's northern fringes. A national landmark up against the state's northern border, probably Georgia or their version of Georgia, which we talked about earlier. Mount Calaga offers prime hunting, fishing, and off-road trailers, and the lush surrounding backwoods, hillbilly mystics and paranoid radicals live far from the prying eyes of the government. And yeah, we some off-road activity going on clearly in the background. We see a helicopter shot. I think that's a camera looking over. Yeah, the news reporting that's going on. The mountains of, obviously, GTA 6 here. And yeah, some hunting that's going on by some of the population. We have another shot that looks, again, I love the environments. They look absolutely breathtaking. Every single one I look at, I'm just like, I cannot believe that all this was shot on a PlayStation 5. The next one we have, again, some of the environments, some of the deer, some of the different animals that we're going to come upon within these regions, and then kayaking. That's a hint at one of the activities within this region. And the last main map location shown is Leonida Keys, gateway to paradise. The dress code is casual, the bars are loaded. Life in this tropical archipelago isn't flashy, but it's easy. Get your buzz on and pull up a deck chair, but look out, you're right on the doorstep of some of the most beautiful and dangerous waters in all of America. And here we have another shot over it. Just, I love the Vice City in the background. Looks great. And again, we see that plane that we saw within the debut trailer, something very similar. Next shot we have, it looks like a bar, the Rusty Anchor. What does it say? Sink your troubles in the Rusty Hinch. I believe that's what it says. Crab Festival is also apparently going on. And yeah, again, just the diversity with all these NPCs. It's honestly astonishing that this is something that Rockstar Games, I feel like they're the only one that can do something like this, and I really appreciate that we're going to see all this diversity within the open world with all these different types of NPCs. Yeah, again, we get a look at different wildlife, different things that we'll come upon within this region. I love this scooter. It looks great in this shot. It looks like some of the elderly visiting, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's the hint here. I'm not entirely sure, but we do have some underwater, it looks like, wildlife, and this was actually one of my big questions. Is there going to be like some underwater activities and stuff we can come upon? But based on some of the leaks and some of the earlier stuff that's been revealed, diving is a feature within the game, so it definitely appears that they gave a little bit more work to make sure that these underwater environments are more detailed, and I think hopefully we're going to have some cool discoveries that we can find here, like, you know, coming upon turtles and fish and other things like along those lines. And the final shot here, again, it just shows some of the party lifestyle that's going on within Vice City, or the open world overall. But yeah, this second GTA 6 trailer featured a lot, and there is a heavy focus on PlayStation. I think it's obvious there's going to be a partnership between both, and I'm sure there's going to be some special benefits to PlayStation 5 users that'll probably be revealed closer to launch, especially once pre-orders actually begin. There's so many small little details within this trailer that you have to appreciate. So many small things that I don't think people maybe necessarily are pointing out. We have one individual game developer, technical artist, pointing out some of the technical details. Muscles deform realistically on characters. We see that with Jason as soon as he gets off of the building that he's working on. It seems to be the safe house, maybe a little bit run down. And you see him mention, hilariously enough, he does mention, like, I'm just trying to fix up some leaks. And I think that's Rockstar's little, nod to the community, especially with all the leaks that happened back in 2022. We do see that car mirrors finally have realistic reflections. Again, the details in this trailer are absolutely amazing. You see light passing through glass, it produces refractions. The sweat drifts from characters' bodies. Beer forms realistic foam and bubbles. Cars can get really dirty. It's all these little details that matter in a Rockstar experience, and it's on full display here. There's high-quality volumetric clouds. That was very much a focus within Red Dead Redemption 2. It returns here once again, and here it does appear to have some complex physics simulation. That was something that was noticeable within the first trailer, and again, it is continued here. You see that with Lucia as she turns. We'll see how prominent that is outside of cutscenes and such. Body parts actually jiggle when characters move around. Don't need to say anything more about that. There's actually a scene that you have a raccoon caught rummaging through the garbage. You can see it in the background. And again, I just hope that these are some of the smaller little interactions, activities that you see throughout the open world, throughout the game. I think that would be something that would really make Grand Theft Auto 6. And again, these little encounters, they happen prominently in Red Dead Redemption 2. So I think that there's a high chance that that is something that's going to happen. But again, I guess I question the power of the PlayStation 5 and Series S and X, and if they really can handle stuff like this. But I guess we'll see. There's blades of grass that are individually modeled, and this is what I mean. There's just so much attention to detail that I guess the wizards at Rockstar, maybe it's only them that can really take advantage with their Rage engine. We do see police car projects lights onto the wall. Water realistically deforms as vehicles travel through it, and the water rendering in general is on another level. This is what this user Frinked pointed out. I will have a link to his thread in the YouTube description. And then there's highly detailed explosions, and they in fact look better than ever before. And I know some people have already pointed this out, but I do feel like we actually did get a couple of gameplay snippets within the second trailer that nobody picked up on. And we actually see, again, the comparison here by Ben pointing out, Red Dead Redemption 2 when Arthur Morgan opens the door. That same animation is here within Grand Theft Auto 6. And I think that this is a hint, again, that this is just a fluid, cutscene to gameplay situation that I think that's going to become noticeable once we finally get our hands on Grand Theft Auto 6. And I think there's a couple of other instances within this footage that this happens. And if you didn't know, and if you actually didn't know, within the GTA 6's new trailer, there is some phone numbers that have been featured, and comicbook.com actually called them up. And there was some interesting, they went in Grand Theft Auto 5 and called these numbers, and they got some interesting, this is what happens. Dial up for one of them. There's 4 of them in total, I should point out.
Your business is important to us, but nobody is here to answer the phone. Please call back later.
And maybe that's a hint at maybe closer to launch there is going to be something with those phone numbers that maybe the GTA Online community can take advantage of. But within the article, they mentioned that the 4 phone numbers that were featured is Brian's Boatworks and Marina, cash register number, Watkins Auto Parts, and random wall phone number. And they also did start calling up some random numbers as well, but there was nothing. There was an immediate hang-up one, the strange music, and a prank call. And maybe there's more here. I'm sure people will continue to look stuff like this up. And for what it's worth, the one that actually does have some dialogue to it is the random wall phone number. We'll see where that leads. And there is one more featured here, but it just continues. It continues dialing, and then it eventually gets connected, but it automatically drops. So definitely appears like Rockstar Games may have something planned with these little secrets within the trailer. And yeah, Synth Potato points out here, we actually see Lucia has a couple of situations in which you see that AirPod in her head. So I assume this is probably going to be something that's in our pockets. We can pull up, we can put it in, and as we do missions or other encounters or other situations, we can put music in. It's one of those ways to, again, have mobile radio and stuff to continue within the game. And I think that this is a nice nice new addition. But yeah, there's just so many small little details within this trailer. The GTA Forums community has already been on it. One individual, Badass Baboon, pointing out that ray trace reflections seem to have been significantly improved since the trailer 1 build of the game. And we also, I think that this is Jason's first car. This is probably the car that we're going to be driving around early on in the game. There's also a basketball hoop in the background. Again, I think this is just further confirmation that this is going to be a mini game. We also see that characters have visible body hair. That was something I pointed out as well. Very noticeable. Jason's hair changes shape and formation and curls up together around his neck when wet, either due to sweat or water. Again, that attention to detail. We saw that with Arthur Morgan, and again, it's here with Jason Duval. And Jason can drive with one hand on the wheel. We'll probably see a lot more different driving styles. Jason's wristwatch actually works. And we're probably going to be seeing a real Department of Public Works. Again, I think these are just going to be some of the, kinetic and maybe static little things going on around us that maybe we can interact with, but maybe it's not intended. Maybe the set dressing of some of these environments to make it feel a little bit more realistic and more immersive. And they went prominently with that with Red Dead Redemption 2. And some of them had interactivity, some of them not. But again, I think these are the encounters and some of the stuff of the open world that really does matter. And we do see that, again, this is one of the activities I mentioned, I believe earlier, but the workout system, that had to have been a hint from Rockstar Games that we can really up Jason's physique. And yeah, it is noticeable he's wearing AirPods. So maybe that's something that we can put our AirPods in and actually listen to music while we're doing activities. That would be actually really cool. And then furthermore, on the attention to detail, we see that beer swings around in bottles as Jason carries a six-pack, similar to liquid physics like we saw in Half-Life Alyx. Also, there's a cat on the ATM machine. This is actually something I didn't even notice. The NPC is buying lottery tickets, maybe something we could do as players as well. And as Jason leaves and the lady enters the store, she slides past Jason so she doesn't bump into him, showcasing, again, the advanced new animations that is really the most noticeable thing within this overall trailer. And we do see that there's an ongoing arrest scene. One person is being asked questions, two people are detained on the ground, one is being detained and another was pushed by the mustached officer. Also later down on the same sidewalk, and then some more officers are questioning pedestrians, and it shows more realistic police encounters. And yeah, that is probably one of the stronger focuses of this experience, just to have realistic encounters. And again, I think it just goes back to the set dressing and making things feel as immersive as possible. And we do see that there's a lockdown effect on bank screens, suggesting some form of hacking will be needed during heists. And we do see another shot of the new liquid physics. This time we see skin pores also on Lucia lit by the sun. And we see that trash and leaves floating on the water surface, and the community surface being done by convicted people, judging by the officer with a clipboard present on the scene. The girl with the hat is Lucia. We also see her with that same jacket on, so she doesn't get hit by a car. We see it when she arrives into, I believe, that same little building that Jason's working on at the beginning of the trailer, where he's laying down watching TV. I believe that hints that she is going to have to be doing community service in the early part of the game, where things are really just settling in. And we do see a dense population at a club. Every pedestrian is also casting a shadow. Again, how the PlayStation 5 Xbox Series handle all this, I'd love to see it. We see the dancing at the club, and it could be working like a mini game similar to The Ballad of Gay Tony or GTA Online. I would assume probably more like GTA Online. And we can be using the environments like vehicles for melee combat, like throwing someone's face on a car. Lucia is seen fighting a guy in an underground fighting ring, probably similar to The Ballad of Gay Tony, maybe. And then realistic explosions, again, that is a big focus a lot of people have been pointing out. And it looks absolutely stunning. And we do see the vault scene that is happening when Jason and Lucy, I would assume that's both of them, that are stealing some sort of vault. We could see the crate like in the Fast and the Furious movies. It smashes around, it destroys trees and other things. Again, the destructible environments, I really hope that is something that is on one of the main features of the game, because it was featured in Grand Theft Auto 5, but to a lesser extent. And then yes, when Jason is watching TV, we do see Phil's ammunition, protecting your rights, and as this GTA Forums user points out, Phil is an obvious reference to Phil Cassidy from Vice City. Also, protecting your rights has been the ammunition slogan since San Andreas. The TV also reflects in the picture frame. And a couple of other little details, as in one of the background scenes, we actually can see a blimp, another confirmed vehicle within the game. And we do see when they're pulling off some sort of robbery in a building, you see the red lighting going on. We see Jason with a mask on and such. We actually see a shot of both of them carrying the same submachine gun, but it appears they have different attachments on their guns. And I think that is a strong indication, again, we're going to have a lot of customization for the weaponry of the game. But yeah, to say Grand Theft Auto 6's second trailer is impressive would be an understatement, but also the additional images, the character information, finally getting a proper premise of GTA 6, it's all appreciated. It just sucks that, yeah, we're going to be waiting north of 365 days to finally play this experience, but I think it is going to be well worth it. Rockstar Games always uses these delays to perfect these games, and I think that this game's probably very much in the latter stage, just polishing things up and trying to ensure that they can get a proper, maybe 60 FPS. I think that is what they're aiming for. I really do hope so. But yeah, to say that this is impressive would be an understatement. And Rockstar Games, if there is a AAA company that is still delivering, it is them. It's just unfortunately we have to wait lengthy times for experiences like this. But I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be worth the wait. Everything about this, everything that has been shown has impressed me, and it does look revolutionary in so many different regards. And I guarantee if this game does launch May, you're going to see many developers, many publishers moving way away from that experience because they know this is going to be an absolute behemoth. But anyway, what do you make of Grand Theft Auto 6? All the new images, all the new stuff that we got today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, or if you found any informative value. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.